Okay, in this video, 2-1 ACP mixed review, I am actually going to work out the following 4 or 5 problems, however many it is. And what I want you to do is I actually want you to go through the problems first, try them out on your own, and then come back through and just click through the video to the answers. Now, if you miss a problem, then you should say to yourself like, oh yeah, I definitely need to learn this video. With that being said, let's get started. So this one says graph the system of equations below. And what I would always encourage you to do in something like this is actually just take both of these equations and write them almost side by side. And the reason that I would do that is because you are going to want to work straight down. You don't want these equations in your way. So I can even use this little line right here. Now from here, of course, I know that I want to get the y by itself. So I start by moving my x term. I do the opposite of negative 3x, which is positive 3x. That zeroes out. Now I have 2y is equal to 3x plus 6. Of course, to get the y by itself, we divide both sides by, both sides by 2, or each term individually. And this will give us this equation, y equals 3 over 2x plus, and of course 6 divided by 2 is 3. So there we go. There's our first line. Now what about this one? We have 4x plus 2y equals 8. Well, same thing. We start by subtracting our 4x. It's the opposite of positive 4x. And we now have this. 2y is equal to 8 minus 4x. Let me write it in that order this time. Constant first. We divide both sides by 2, and we get this. Y is equal to 8 divided by 2 would be 4, minus 4 divided by 2, which is 2x. Now, remember, this is actually asking you to graph both of these. Okay, let's do that. So let's see. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to do this one in orange. I see that my b term is 3, so I go up 1, 2, 3, put my very first point. And I notice that my slope is 3 over 2. Well, remember, 3 over 2 tells me I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, to the right 1, 2, and put my first point. And up 1, 2, 3, to the right 1, 2, and put my third point. And there we go. Okay, let me do this next point in red. We have y equals 4 minus 2x. Now notice our y-intercept is the first number here because it's the constant, and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. But from here, we're actually going to go down 2 and to the right 1. So down 1, 2, and to the right 1, down 1, 2, to the right 1, and our graph will look something like that. Alright, pause the video, finish taking any notes that you need, and let's move on. Okay, here we have example 2. It says solve the following equation for the x value. Now notice on both the left and right side we need to simplify. So here I see that my constant is this positive 9 and that negative 12. So we can say, okay, well our 8x is unchanged, but we know that 9 minus 12 would give us negative 3. Okay, and this will of course equal. Now over here, we're going to change this by using distribution. And we know that 2 times 4x would be 8x, and 2 times negative 8 would of course be negative 16. Okay, now check this out. What do we want to do from here? Well, we always want to move our x's to get them onto one side, and we want to move the smaller x, but notice they're both 8x's. So we can actually just subtract 8x, and actually both of these zero out, and we're left with negative 3 equals negative 16. Well, we know that this is a false statement, so what we really have is no solution. Alright, I'm sorry. Let's write the word solution just a little bit better. Once again, pause this and finish taking any notes that you need. Let's move on. Okay, here we have example 3. Solve the following equation for x. So we have 10 equals 2x cubed, and guys, you gotta get in the habit of saying that little 3 as a cube minus 6. So what's our first step going to be? Well, we know that we always want to get rid of our subtraction first, so plus 6, and we're going to get this. 10 plus 6 is of course 16 is equal to 2x cubed. Well, from there we know that the 2 is being multiplied by the x cubed, so we want to divide both sides by 2. And of course 16 divided by 2 will give us 8, which is equal to x cubed. Now let's actually do this by hand. We know that the opposite of a cube, and I cannot stress this enough, the opposite of a cube is a cube root. Guys, remember, it's just this word root. You either add it on or subtract it off to the word to find the opposite. So I take the cube root of the right, I take the cube root of the left, and remember, this means that I'm looking for groups of 3. So how does 8 break up? Well, I know that 2 times 4 is 8, and I know that 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. And wait a second, I've got 1, 2, 3 numbers that are the exact same. I have found my group of 3. And so the answer is x equals 2. Pause the video, finish taking any notes. Let's move on to example number 4. Okay, here we have example number 4, and this says which of the following functions best represents the graph below. Well, we have to do a couple things here. Thing number 1 is we want to find our y-intercept. Okay, well, where on the y-axis does this line cross? And it turns out it's crossing at the b term of 5. Now here's the next thing I want you to do. I want you to find a perfect point. So I'm going to start here at 5, and I'm going to start going down. Let's see, where's the next place where I find it crossing a vertical and horizontal line? And it looks like the next place is, oh, it's right there. Okay, so what we're saying is, well, wait a second, how far down did we go? We went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We went down 6 units. And going to the right, well, let's see, we went to the right 1 unit. And so how would we say this? Well, we'd say our slope is the change in y over the change in x. And since we went down 6, well, we could say our change in y is negative 6. And since we went to the right 1, we can say that's positive 1. So we could write this. We could write y, and I'm going to write something. Y something is negative 6x plus 5. Remember, this is the form of y equals mx plus b. But I can't write an equal sign because here we have this dotted line, and if you'll notice, it is shaded above. So what is shaded above? Is that less than or greater than? And in this case, shaded above always means greater than. And it's a dashed or dotted line, so it's just greater than, there's no line underneath. Alright, I hope this helps, and I'll catch you guys later.